Welcome back. I'm playing Mordheim City of the Damned, and we're working on our Sisters of Sigmar campaign. I did end the turn, or the day I should say, after I ended the campaign because I forgot to do that, so unfortunately we didn't have great missions, so I had to pay to explore there.
Both groups of warriors to flee in terror. As the apparition fades away, your warriors recover their courage. Scattered in their fright, your warband is spread out across the ruins, but so too are your enemies. A new round has started.
Now we're fighting the witch hunters, huh? So, as you may recall, on that last mission, we had some guys get injured. So once I think they get past half health or only have a third of their health left, something like that. Once that occurs, they have to take a roll to see if they suffer an injury or not. Alternatively, there can be skills that your opponent can use on you that increase the chance of you taking wounds. Now those will not be permanent wounds like injuries, like you're going to have your arm cut off or anything like that.
Updated.
But, ooh, his hero's over here. Okay, but they will be injuries that you'll have to pay to get treated. And while they're in treatment, you can't use those units. And it costs money to have that treatment, so there can definitely be some negative things that happen. Now with this knight here, he has a passive trait where he will always fight to the death, so he can't run away. Sometimes the AI will try to run away if they know they're losing the battle. And if you disengage, then you don't trigger an attack of opportunity, but it does cost points in order to do that. But for him, he always fights to the death, so he will never... He cannot electively run away, but likewise he can also never flee from an all-alone check. So just keep that in mind if you're always trying to trigger those in your opponents here, and you're like, why is it not happening with the knight here? It's because they have a trait that makes them invulnerable to that. Likewise, I think they also have a trait that gives them resistance, and actually I think it's immunity, not just resistance, to fear and terror as well. So it's always good to have an understanding of what skills your opponents have, or innately have, I should say, because it can definitely cause you to, damn it, do some things you wouldn't normally do if once you know how they work. Now, typically you want to surround your opponents even if they don't have to trigger one of those all-alone checks. And the reason for that being is the AI usually will spread their attacks more, even if it means they could kill one of your units. So just always keep that in mind. If you have somebody that's almost dead, sometimes it makes sense to... I think I should probably pull back with this one. To engage your opponent with multiple units just to spread the attacks. It's actually quite ironic that that happens, because the AI is super aggressive on this game, and that's part of the reason it becomes so challenging. Is if they can isolate one of your units, they will definitely isolate that unit, and they will focus fire him down like nobody's business. So it's quite ironic that if you engage them with multiple people, they'll start splitting attacks. Now, it's not guaranteed, but it does increase the chances of that happening.
Objectives updated. Objectives updated.
Alright, how many more have we got to gather? So you see that 7 out of 9. That is the warp stone that I have to gather to complete our objectives and beat our bonus objective. So we'll take this.
Objectives updated.
And that means I need to get one more. So there's one around the corner here. Ah, just out of my range. Alright, you're here. Your backpack is full. My cart is way back there. I wonder if it wouldn't make sense for me to just come over here and start attacking this archer.
A new round has started.
Alright, you're here. Try to get you over here. So, thankfully he didn't have an angle there to charge me. So I'm trying to move you up, because I don't want to have him do a charge or a counter attack and then get another attack through there. Because that he can kill my units pretty effectively. Now thankfully he also is equipped with a knife right now, which is like the lowest damage dealing weapon in the game. The big thing that it's good at is getting past your guys' parry and dodge chances. But in terms of damage output, it's definitely the lowest in the game. So it's not too bad. Now occasionally the AI will bug out when it's on ledges like that, especially if something is blocking their ability to jump down, and then they'll just end the turn is how they're coded. So you can definitely use that to your advantage if you can kind of trick them onto a ledge like that, because then all of a sudden it's like you're playing a warband opponent that's missing one of their units. And you know, if it's an impressive, you can bug them out in the doorway because they're usually extra big. See, he failed his all-alone check, and he couldn't retreat, so that's why he just ended his turn, because he lost all of his points. Or if it's a leader or something like that, then, you know, that can be huge for you. It's not quite as big of a deal when it's a henchman, but anything helps. Now that's the opponent's cart there, so it has two things. One is it has a chest on the back. So the AI will occasionally gather warpstone, and then if it fills its inventory, it'll deposit it into their chest, in which case you can go back there and collect it, because anybody can raid each other's chests. Now, the AI isn't smart enough to raid your own chest here, so you don't have to worry about them raiding your chest, but you can definitely raid theirs, and then there'll always be some sort of item in there, whether it be a good amount of gold. You know, good is relative. It depends on how high your warband ranking is. There could be regular equipment, whether it be weapons or armor. There could be items. There's usually not warpstone unless the AI has already gathered them and put them in there. There can be consumables. And then the other thing that's next to it is the banner. And when you take that, it gives the guy who steals the banner bonuses, but then it also lowers morale for your opponent. So as you see, this is the fastest way to level your guys up, in my opinion.
Your warband is getting stronger.
And the more you level up, the stronger your guys become. You can see I get these little points that I put into different traits, but as I level up, the warband also levels up as well. And then that unlocks additional slots. So it'll be for additional henchmen, additional heroes. As I score higher, I'll get access to additional heroes. So all those things work out for our advantage here. I think at level 3 is when I get extra skill points, if I remember correctly. Because what I like to do is put one-handed weapons on my guys, and then give them a shield, and then they can tank hits. Now, unfortunately, that dramatically lowers the amount of damage they do, so if you don't have good healers, then it's usually going to make the game much, much harder for you. But once you get a healer going, it works out in your favor.
Alright, and we've leveled up enough to get the next hero, which is the Sigmar Purifier. Looks like it can also can't get up to heavy armor, so this will be a light armored unit. I don't know why. It must be a Zinch's curse here, going near her groin. I don't know what the deal is with that. But always fights to the death, prevents the use of flee and retreat, immune to all alone, and she is a spellcaster as well. So looks like, unfortunately, it has no strength for the heavy armor, but can't use heavy armor. I think the agility for sidestep is like 14 for that max, so can't do that. Can get the weapon skill maxed out, so she'll be able to do the Web of Steel for a mastery. No ranged unit, so not great, but let's get her out. And now for her issue here, so Sigmar's Purifier. Sigmar's Purifiers of the Sisterhood have embraced the martial aspects of Sigmar with fervor beyond that of the rest of the Order. Their faith is of such an extreme that by sheer force of will they are able to draw upon the divine power of their god to unleash spells upon their foes. A Purifier is utterly fearless in battle, attacking with a combination of cold steel and the holy magic that few can withstand. They start out with the comment of Sigmar. They get the regular heals going here, so it'll be getting the influence going so she can be a healer. And we have Unsettling Charge. After a successful charge attack, the target's parry or dodge stance is broken. That's interesting. So we will continue keeping these guys two-handed weapons. I will get her a mace to increase her chance to hit. Now the question is, I feel like we should always go with 2 leaders. You have 2 spells, so I could get you the Healing Circle right away, which I think I want to do so we can rush story missions. And then if I'm going to do that, I guess I will bring on this level 1 hero, because she is uninjured, correct? Yep. So we'll bring her in, and we'll get her leveled up a little bit here, like so. She's got 2 skill points. So what I am going to do is get Devotion. That way it can reduce... do I do that? I mean, I feel like the answer is yes. Piety would also be good because it would increase the range by 5. Which could be very important for a Healing Circle spell. Let's do that. She does not have enough for anything else. So whether that's the right idea or not, I'm not sure. But that's what I'm going to do here. And then what we'll do is bring you out while she's training for the next 3 days. And I guess we'll just hold off on training you yet. I mean, eventually I'm going to end up having to spend a bunch of points to get quick incision on some of these guys. Because I should have the points to do that, because this should just be a regular tank unit for us. Nothing too interesting there. What I will do, though, is I'm going to take off her helmet. And I'm going to give it to you while we are still training. And then she had an amulet, so I guess I'll just give that to you while things are going here. Oh, and that reminds me. So with your skills... Yeah, sidestep's 15 agility. It's even higher than I thought it was. So she cannot master heavy armor. I'll still probably get her up to 12 strength, though, just for the inventory slot. Well, that just means she's going to have more options here for her other stuff. So we can still make this work, I think. Go to the next day here. And speaking of mission requests, looks like we got our first one here.
A new mission is available.
Living on a prayer. The augurs sequestered within the rock have divined a dire threat rising in the ruins of Mordheim. A cult of depraved heretics, the Brotherhood of Shadows, has descended upon the ruins of the Temple of Sigmar in the northeast quarter of the city. They intend to defile and reconsecrate the temple to their own dark gods. If they are successful in their purpose, they will create a portal between the mortal world and the realm of chaos, through which the ruinous powers will be able to further the corruption of the city. To prevent Mordheim from sinking even deeper into the grip of chaos, the cultists must be prevented from performing their obscene rites. And then the objective is Living on a Prayer. 700 points, normal difficulty, Act 1, Stage 1, or Scene 1. The augurs sequestered within the rock have divined a dire threat rising in the ruins of the Temple of Sigmar. But unfortunately, we're not quite ready for that. Maybe when she's actually done being trained up, then I'll have a little bit of healing, and then maybe I can actually do a mission. But I need to get at least level 2, and then maybe what I'll do is I'll put her into training. I actually just dawned on me that I never gave her a two-handed weapon. So, hammer. I think we'll do hammer, or the flail. It'll lower her damage a little bit, but it'll also allow her to bypass a little bit of armor. We gotta get that off of you. You should not have any inventory stuff. Yep, good. Alright, now this might be a mistake doing a brutal mission, but we'll certainly try.
But recovering it has become no easy task. Somehow, an enemy warband has learned of your plan. Worse, they're lying in wait and have deployed patrols to flank your warriors.
Yeah, how this works is on the brutal is the opponents usually get bonus HP and bonus damage. But with those buffs comes the increased opportunity to find better equipment and better warpstone qualities, as you could see there. So exceptional usually means there'll be less fragments and more shards and clusters. So hopefully that'll work to our advantage here. I think I'm just going to want to try to run down this way. Trying to keep my guys together. And because there's so much warpstone here, I have to gather 11 of it to complete our objective. Now how this works is fragments, which are those little tiny collections, those are worth 1 when we're doing our shipments. Shards are worth 5, and then I think clusters are worth 10, if I remember correctly. So if you have to choose between several fragments and a shard or a cluster, it always makes sense to go with the other, to non-fragments. Unless you're doing it, obviously, to just complete the objective and you need more of them. Looks like he's going pretty range heavy here.
A new round has started. Objectives updated.
Alright, and what can happen with the warpstone, unless you're like the Skaven, is once you pick it up you have to do a check. So this is what a shard looks like.
Objectives updated.
I think you saw the difference between that and a cluster. But when you pick it up, you have to do a check, and there can be random events that happen.
Objectives
So
updated.
sometimes nothing happens, sometimes there's a positive check, meaning you gain some sort of bonus, but a vast majority of the time there's some sort of negative check that occurs. And that can, you know, increase your chance to fail spell casting. It can increase the cost of spell casting. It can increase the cost for attacking the opponent. It increases all attacks by 1 offensive point, which can be very terrible when you have two-handed weapons that cause tiring. And what that means are, you know, 2 single-handed weapons like what I'm doing. And that's because every time they attack, the cost of being able to attack again goes up by 1. And that can be detrimental, especially if you've charged, because the charge itself also costs an extra action point too. So you definitely have to be very cognizant of your point situation when you are using non-one-handed weapons and shields. Alright. Good. Nice stun. Good. We almost dropped out that Magister. So he's their leader, and what he is he's a spellcaster. And so as you can see, he's buffing up his heroes and henchmen here with that spell, and that increases the amount of damage they do. Now, unfortunately, he's going to be sniping me from range.
Objectives updated.
As if there's any other way to snipe.
Objectives
But
updated.
he'll have increased chance to hit
Objectives
with him
updated.
being at an elevated position and her being out in the open. Alright, good. She took him out. Alright, and he gave me a shard. I don't think anybody can use axes, but we'll take it. Might as well take the shield too while we're here.
A new round has started.
Alright, you're here. So we've got the henchmen coming around to fight you. Still got a bunch of stone to gather. So I think I actually need to run you over here.
Objectives updated.
Naturally.
Objectives updated.
Alright, you're back here. So the question is, do I have you keep trying to gather? And I think the answer to that is yes. Alright, looks like there's a henchman over here too.
Objectives
Alright,
updated.
so now we just need to gather one more and we'll beat our objective. Yep, there's the henchman. So maybe we'll put you here, and hopefully he'll come after you. Alright, you're here. Alright, they're down. Oh, still's got enough morale, which is good. Because I need to get one more warp stone in order to trigger success. Oof. That was very lucky. Alright, you are here. So I guess let's charge into here. Good hit. Your inventory is full. I think we're going to just pull you back since you're so injured. Oh, God.
A new round has started.
Alright, you're here. Alright, need to kill this guy. I could run you back to try to capture this last stone. And of course the door is shut here. So I'd have to come from the other direction. Alright, is it here or is it up the stairs? Looks like it's up the stairs. Oh, of course it's got to be up here. Alright, you are here. So, is there stone here? Nope, it's above me. Looks like there's some around the corner here, though.
Objective completed.
Alright, nice. And then there's another shard over here. Now, looks like there's a fragment on the ground, too. Uh-oh. Alright, good. He's down. Alright, you can drop this stuff off. And maybe I'll run you up towards the top since we know where all of his other guys are, because that should be safe up there. You passed this route check. So what happens is you can see 18 out of 23. Once it drops, that top number drops below the bottom number on the red side. That's their morale. And once that happens, yeah, I gotta get you over here. Then you have to do what's called a morale check. And then if you fail the morale check, that just immediately ends the match. Now, in order for it to happen at the turn start, I think there's a check, and then there's another check anytime somebody else gets taken out or you cause the morale to change, like by capturing a banner. And the following team's turn, so like if it's on my turn, or it's my morale, which is the blue, if it drops below 36, then whenever one of my units goes, it has to do a morale check. Now, it's only once per turn unless there's a change again. So, let's say I was at 28, I passed my check. If, unless somebody got killed, I'd be able to keep going and the match would continue like normal. But if they took another one of my guys out or captured my banner, then I'd have the following time one of my units goes or the following turn start, then I would have to do another morale check, and it gets harder to do every time there's an additional check. Now, it is possible that you kill enough of the opponents that their morale goes to 0, in which case it just ends. Alright. Ah, you almost killed him. Oh, he's coming hunting, it looks like.
A new round has started.
Alright, so as you saw here, what's going to happen is when that 49 henchman gets his turn, then he'll have to do another morale check here. So it looks like there's a henchman that's up there that's probably bugging out. And then there's also his hero, who is over here trying to attack me. It's just a fragment. Alright, and you are here. He got his Overwatch. And now he failed, so that's how that works.
Blessed are the triumphant, for in them shines the glory of Sigmar.
Fantastic. Outstanding. The gods
As you can
are
see,
with you.
we're just
The
leveling
gods
our
are
guys
with you.
up like crazy.
Outstanding.
And now when you pay, the salary of your guys will actually increase as the game goes by and they become higher levels. So as you can imagine, higher skilled units require larger payments than weaker units. And likewise, the amount of experience it takes to level them up increases as time goes by as well. So pretty boring leveling here because there's not a lot of these guys are all the same. So it's like the spellcasters getting their intelligence to get their healing, for those that are going to use heavy armor getting their strength up, other than the purifier, who is also getting her strength up, not for the armor but because I need her to be able to gather more items, and then I'm going to use a web of steel for them. Now what I was just upgrading there is called quick incision, and what that is every time somebody hits, it lowers the melee resistance of the opponent by 3%. And how melee resistance works in this game is the higher the melee resistance, the harder it is to hit somebody. And so by doing that, and that ability stacks. And so early on, you know, you have 3 people attack, they all land their attack, then that's a 9% melee resistance that now gets to get bypassed. I'm sending in these shipments here to get to 100, because then once I do that, I've now unlocked the leadership skills, and if I get one done here, that'll increase the alertness skills, and that will allow me to do those at a reduced cost. Now, unfortunately, neither of those are things I'm really that interested in. But if there are ones that you're more interested in, then that's what you'll want to focus on. Yeah, see, like I could get her web of steel. and start getting that going. So that could be good. I'm just not sure when I want to start doing the story missions. Got 4 days until a new market kicks off. Yeah. So, and then what also happens when you're sending those shipments is not only do you get your payment then, but for each time you do it, if you saw, it'll increase the price that other factions are giving me. So I'm going to call it quits here for the day. I hope you're enjoying these videos. If you are, please give my channel a like and subscribe to encourage me to post more content for you. Have a great day.